that was such a good trailer.
Engage.
Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to my channel where I talk about all the geeky pop culture I love. So I'm of course talking a little bit about Comic-Con and some of the announcements we've got over a few videos. This is the second one of those. Go check out my video about the Arrowverse if you're interested in that kind of stuff here. And I might do another one at some point on the MCU. But for this video, we're talking about Picard because there was a trailer. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting. This isn't a trailer breakdown. I'm not going to go through shot by shot, but some of the things we learnt from the trailer. The basic plot seems to be that a woman comes to Picard for help. She seems to be a very special woman. We don't know why. That's a bit of a mystery. She comes to Picard for help. Picard then goes to a Starfleet admiral to seek their help and Starfleet's help and to, on behalf of this girl, try and seek help. I'm guessing that he doesn't get it, because then we see him on some kind of ship which looks decidedly non-Starfleet, with a decidedly non-Starfleet crew for the rest of the trailer. So I'm going to guess that he doesn't get the help that he asked for from Starfleet. Now, there's always the possibility with the Starfleet stuff that actually what has happened is that Starfleet admiral may have helped him, but may have set him up with this sort of off-the-books crew, non-official Starfleet sort of route. Maybe that has happened, but I guess we'll find that out when the show starts. It looks like there is a big focus in this plot on the Borg, which is quite exciting. We get returning Borg characters, 7 of 9.
What the hell are you doing out here, Picard? Saving the galaxy?
Which is excellent. I love the fact that they're bringing in stuff from other Star Trek shows other than TNG. You've got, obviously, 7 of 9 is from Voyager. It's really embracing the whole sort of built-up world of the 24th century here and not just focusing just on the TNG crew. Maybe we'll see some more in future trailers and in the series as it comes to air. Maybe we'll see a bit of Deep Space Nine, maybe. Who knows? It would be really good if they could incorporate in some way all of those 24th century shows and have either a character or a setting that links into them. That would be quite nice. But for now, we've got Jeri Ryan playing back as 7 of 9. So we've got her as an ex-Borg. We've also got Hugh, Jonathan Dell, who played Hugh, a Borg that broke slightly away from the collective and set up his own little community of Borg that wanted to be independent of the collective. He is back. And of course, we've got that big shot towards the end of the trailer of the Borg cube, which looks like it's under construction or repair or something. There are a few possibilities there. Maybe it's a new Borg cube under construction by the Borg. Maybe it's being repaired by the Borg. Maybe it's being actually... There is one possibility that I haven't seen many people posit, that maybe it's actually being dismantled and investigated by Starfleet. Maybe it's a captured Borg cube. I don't think we've had a captured Borg cube before, so that would be exciting. So the Borg seem to be playing a heavy role in this new series. So what does this mean? Are we seeing a resurgence of the Borg after the damage that Janeway did to their infrastructure at the end of Voyager, pretty much crippling them by destroying all of their transport capabilities, destroying Unimatrix 1, all of that sort of stuff that she did at the end there? We know that it didn't wipe out the Borg completely, but it severely crippled them. Maybe it's taken them these 20, 25 years, however long the setting has been since that era, for them to recoup and start to become a presence again. And we're starting to see that in this series. Maybe that's the case. However, the presence of 3 different characters who have previously all escaped the influence of the Borg collective can't be coincidence here. You've of course got Picard, who used to be Locutus of Borg. You've got Jeri Ryan, 7 of 9, who obviously famously escaped from Borg collective control and became part of the Voyager crew. And you've got Hugh, 3 characters who have all escaped the hold of the collective. And that, yeah, I don't think that can be coincidence. I think that's going to be part of this plot, and maybe it even links into this girl character, this female character that's on the run from somebody. We don't know much about her yet. She's apparently special. Maybe she links it back into the Borg as well. That's pure speculation, but I don't think it's coincidence that we've got 3 members of the Borg that have escaped the Borg control in this series. Maybe we're going to have a Borg civil war. Maybe we're going to have something where there's some kind of underground railroad road situation where Hugh and Seven of Nine are all working to sort of help other Borg escape the collective. Maybe that's the kind of thing going on, and maybe this woman that has come after Picard's help somehow fits into that as well. I'm sure the focus on the Borg is going to be a bit of a Marmite thing for a lot of people. Either you'll love it or you hate it. I think it makes sense for a series focused on Picard and for a very character-driven piece that is meant to be a character drama about Picard. I think it makes absolute sense. Being turned into Locutus of Borg is probably the single most defining bit of Picard's history that had the most ongoing impact of him. We saw the repercussions, the mental health repercussions, years after the actual event. We saw it right into Star Trek, into First Contact even, where he's still suffering effectively from PTSD about this event. It left an emotional scar on him, so it absolutely makes sense that if you're going to do a character piece about Picard, the Borg is certainly a rich area to go to in exploring his character. So I think having the Borg as a main feature of this just makes sense. The Borg are clearly not the only element of this series, though. We do see some Romulans. At one point, it looks like, at least, they're capturing Picard. They're quite rough-handling, a group of quite beefy-looking Romulans are rough-handling Picard down a corridor. What's going on there? Maybe they're arresting him? I mean, I suppose it's possible they've gone to him for help in some regard, but I think, given the sort of mise-en-scène of the scene there, it doesn't look that way. It looks like they're kind of being quite aggressive with him. So maybe he's wanted by the Romulans for some kind of perceived crime. Some people have suggested this might link into the destruction of Romulus, and that's another aspect that's going to weigh heavily on Picard. So therefore, maybe he had some involvement in that. Maybe he was working with Spock on that red matter stuff. And the Romulans somehow hold him partly responsible and have come after him. The other option is, of course, that it's the Romulans after the girl that's come for Picard's help. So maybe they've tried to capture him to get to her. It's another possibility, but the Romulans are going to be involved somehow in this plot as well. And then we've, of course, got Data. The sacrifice of Data is something that still, the trailer shows us, weighs heavily on Picard's mind. Data sacrificed himself for Picard's life. So, as he says in the trailer, that's weighed heavily on him. We see some kind of android in parts. We don't know if that's a flashback to Data. We don't know if that's lore. We don't know if that's B4. But there seems to... Data is going to play a part in this role in somehow. And then, of course, we get the very last bit of the trailer where we see Data, looks like playing chess, maybe, with Picard. Now, one of the reasons why Brett Spiner wanted to stop playing Data was because he didn't think it was realistic that as he aged, Data shouldn't age. This was, of course, a good, 15, 20 years ago, is it? 15, 20 years ago that he last played Data. And back then, the technology, the CGI sort of technology, wasn't as developed to be able to de-age. We've got a lot of good de-aging technology now that we didn't have back then. So I can absolutely see it. And it doesn't matter, de-aging isn't perfect. It can sometimes look a bit plasticky, but that doesn't matter with Data. So I think part of the reason why he might have agreed to come back is because the technology has now come enough forward that you can de-age Data and you can make him look ageless and still the same as he did 20 years ago with just the technology. But the question about this scene is, of course, what is it? Where does it take place? We don't know that this is Data back for certain. So one possibility is absolutely it's Data. Data's body was destroyed in Star Trek Nemesis, but we did, of course, have B4 in that series as in that film as well. And there was hints at the end of the film that maybe Data's personality had somehow got transferred into B4 and was starting to come about. There was him whistling that song at the end there that Data was fond of. So maybe the Data personality has fully taken over B4. That's what happened in the Countdown comics. We'll get to that in a minute. But there are other possibilities, of course. It could be Data in B4's body. It could just be B4. I don't think in that particular scene, Data is referred to as Data. That is referred to as Data. So it could just be B4. Maybe we're just seeing a memory. I've seen somebody mention that, I think it was Ketwaski on his channel mentioned that if you just look closely at the bottom of the screen, you can kind of see a Star Trek Nemesis era uniform with the greys, with the grey top. So maybe it's just a memory. Maybe this isn't actually what's happening in the here and now. Maybe it's Picard reminiscing. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe it's just a holodeck recreation of Data. There are many possibilities. I don't think we should get carried away with saying, yes, Data's back, definitely, just because of this one scene here in the current timeline. Now, let's talk about the Countdown comic, because at the time, if you haven't heard of it, Countdown, Star Trek Countdown, was a kind of prequel to the 2009 series, but set in the prime timeline in the 24th century. It was billed at the time as an official, in-canon, the only in-canon comic to exist, part of Star Trek lore. So it detailed the events leading up to the destruction of Romulus, and in that, Data had fully taken over, the Data personality had fully taken over the B4 unit, and was now captain of the Enterprise. So Data was captain of the Enterprise in that. Now, technically, nothing in this trailer absolutely contradicts that, but I feel from the way that Picard is talking about Data and the sacrifice that he made, it sounds like Data isn't around. So although we don't absolutely know that this comic is invalidated by this series, it kind of sounds like they're going that way. And I would love it if they somehow incorporated Countdown and said and all those events in Countdown were what happened. But if they don't, it's a little bit of a shame, but it's still going to be an amazing series, I think. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So, that's the Picard trailer and my thoughts on it. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. What do you think is going to happen with all those bits? The Borg, Data, the Romulans. Let me know in the comments below. I do videos about all the kind of geeky pop culture that I love. A lot about Doctor Who. Obviously, more Star Trek will be coming. And all that sort of stuff. MCU, superheroes, all of that. So, do like, share, and subscribe and all that jazz if you want to hear more from me on those sort of topics. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.